Alrighty, hi everybody. Hi Ivan.
Hello, hi Michael, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm really happy to be here with you today. It's going to be a lot of fun. and I'm happy that everyone who's listening is here as well. This is, for everyone who's watching, the second episode of the 5th season of the Messy Desk show, which is this show. And on the show, I like to bring on a variety of guests who have interesting things to say about guitar and other stuff. So today I have Ivan, and I'm really excited to have him here. So do you want to tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do, Ivan, before we get into all our topics?
Yes, Michael. I like to describe myself as a real life guitarist, in a sense that it's like a real world guitarist. I'm a person who learned the classical guitar when I was a kid. Right? I hope to have a career in guitar one day when I was a teenager, but the opportunity passed me, and what happens is instead of giving up, right? Leaving the guitar along with my shattered dreams, I decided to carry on playing, and I had lots of fun in the meantime. You see, between then, when I had my last lesson when I was 19 years old, and now, and along the way, I met some friends, met some people who were able to keep me interested in playing the guitar, and well, I'm here today largely because of that. In real life, I'm actually a writer. I
Nice.
write books.
Awesome.
I've been a journalist. Yeah, I've been I've written mainly for lifestyle, as well as like sports, and I've been a sort of like a music critic sometimes.
Nice.
I've interviewed guitarists like John Williams, John
Mm-hmm.
Mills, a few others. So,
Cool.
and I felt it was important for me to see these people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful.
so that's me.
Nice. Yeah, well, I mean, being a classical guitarist is so much more than what exactly you make your living for. And, we'll get into that, this whole paradox, because I believe very strongly that even how you count yourself as a professional or not is often a little bit tricky to nail down. And
Yeah.
what sort of revenue sources every guitarist has, it's all different, right? So anyways, we'll get more into that, but I mean, it's so nice to have your perspective too, given that you love the guitar for the guitar, and it's easy to lose that love, especially when it is your job too. So it's, yeah, we'll talk more about that. But before we go further, Kevin Lowe says greetings to both from the wee early hours of Singapore. Hi, Kevin. Yeah.
Go to sleep, boy.
Yeah, go to sleep. Well, it's
way
funny.
past your bedtime.
It's funny you say that, Ivan, because we were supposed to start a little while ago, but someone was having a nap, so Ivan, for those who don't know, Ivan had a nap and slept past our start time. So this is good theme here.
This is the woke version of me.
Yeah. Ivan is now woke. Yeah. Anyhow, it's nice to see you, Kevin. Please don't go to sleep. Please stay and ask us your insightful questions, because I'm sure he'll have many. Kevin's been on this show too, and he's great. Awesome. Nice. Well, we're gonna start with my traditional question I ask everybody, which is I'm really interested to hear your answer to this question, because you have a kind of a different perspective than a lot of the people who have been on the show. Is what is classical guitar? How do you define classical guitar?
Well, the thing is, I've thought about that, and I've thought about that since I was a kid. Really, what's a classical guitar? I just feel that to have the guitar prefix by classical guitar, it's a Spanish guitar, we know, right? But I tend to think that it's a nylon string instrument, literally.
Yeah.
Nylon trebles, it is the best, to me. It is the best version of the guitar, the classical guitar.
Because
right? And because you can do so much with it. And also because I'm afraid of steel strings, because of the damage to my nails.
The truth comes out. Okay.
Yeah. And so yes, to me, classical guitar is the best version of the guitar for expression of music in any form. In any form, I mean, in the sense that I can.
That's
play,
quite the claim, Ivan.
Yeah.
Nice. And because you can express yourself through color and dynamics, is that what you're thinking? Or
the timbre, the tone, the things you can do with it. Yeah.
Cool.
I find that it. Yeah, I mean, I think it is the original version of the guitar, and it's never been. I mean, it's been improved and or not improved. It's been adapted for different purposes, like a rock concert maybe. It's been
Hmm.
developed for like folk music, steel strings with strumming, acoustic guitar. But I feel that the original sound of the guitar, the nylon strings. I mean, when it used to be gut strings, right, before it became. And I feel that that is the version that I first met in 1976 is the version I prefer, and the version I love the best.
Nice. Okay, so your definition of it as the best is a subjective, but one filled with love.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's wonderful. Also, I should have heard. David from Nigeria says hi. Hi, David, and I think Dairos also says hi. Even and Michael.
Ah, yes,
Nice to
yes,
see you
yes.
guys.
My dear friends from Nigeria.
Yeah, exactly.
How y'all guys?
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about that, and we're gonna hear some music from there too, from Taiwo, a little later.
Nice.
Um, Great. Well, I mean, I like your definition because it's a very personal definition. So, I'm wondering. You referenced, first meeting the guitar in 1976. You said. So, what was
Yes.
your first experience with classical guitar?
Um, my first experience was with classical guitar was an accidental one.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to 1976, in about I think it must have been in 1973. Yeah, I was learning the violin. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I was 6 or 7 years old then.
Mm-hmm.
And my family wasn't a very rich family. We just like my parents were not very well off. Both of them were teachers, school teachers. So,
Okay.
but they felt that I deserved a music education.
Okay.
So from the onset, from the time I was very early, my mom wanted me to have training in classical music. So she sent me to Yamaha, and it was a nightmare for her because I would not participate in any of the activities there. I mean, I would know exactly what was going on, but I would like, want to do things in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
So she abandoned that, and then when I was 6, she started me on violin lessons. I didn't enjoy it very much. I think because my teacher wasn't very engaging
Mm-hmm.
as when I was a kid. So that went by for a while, and after a year, my teacher decided that he didn't want to teach anymore. I think he was retiring or something, and so
Mm-hmm.
we had to look for another teacher, but we couldn't find one, and we found a school that was teaching the Suzuki method,
Okay.
and I enrolled. But the thing is, I had to go in as a beginner once again, and I was downright frustrated because I had to play
Mm-hmm.
very basic stuff again, and it was no more thrill. So I did something really horrible. I tried to tune my violin, but I was struggling with it. So I took a pair of pliers and twisted the pack, and my God, I just destroyed it.
Oh
When
my
I when I
gosh.
showed it when I showed it to my mom, she was like, "Okay, it's obvious you're not very interested in the violin, so let's stop." So that was like that was sometime in 74 or 75. So for about a year or so, I just went around and I felt very, very guilty that I had no instrument. So one day we walked past a classical guitar shop. It was actually called Singapore Classical Guitar Private Limited. There was a company, a shop, and a nice long row of guitars,
Mm-hmm.
classical guitars mainly. And we walked inside, and my mom said, let's start you on the guitar." And I was actually very nervous. But yeah, that was when she bought me the guitar. It was like $70 in
Mm-hmm.
Ariana, and yeah, it was expensive for her then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for my family, but she got it for me and said, "Please, you have to practice. You have to be focused on this one if you really want to learn it." And I said, "Yes, yes, please." It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and so in a few weeks I started the guitar, and I've really never looked back. So that was
Nice.
the
Okay.
guitar for me. Yeah.
Well, then there must have been something about the instrument that drew you in. If you had that experience with violin, but then right after getting the guitar, you were enthusiastic about it. Or I guess it also could have just been the feeling that you really felt like you wanted to give an instrument a try properly at that point, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so I was 10 years old, and yeah, I'd seen violinists, I'd seen pianists.
Mm-hmm.
We could we could never we couldn't then afford a piano in the home.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like beyond our means to even consider like piano classes. And I think that my parents thought that the guitar was the best option because it was affordable, and lessons too. So yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, it was. I went in not I wouldn't say with an open mind. I didn't really have a mind of my own at the time because I was only 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was a bit like worried, and I had an excellent teacher.
Mm.
He was he found me funny because I mean I was 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
And then he said I looked like chipmunk because I had buck teeth.
Nice. Awesome.
And so he was always like making the classes very enjoyable for me mainly,
Mm-hmm.
and always encouraging of my progress. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the like 9 to 12 year old age is a funny one. Sometimes kids in that age
Yeah.
can do and say some pretty funny stuff, which keeps the teacher, on their toes or a little amused. I mean, there's definitely been times where I appreciate that my students are funny because it keeps me engaged as well. So it's good.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And you never stop being funny, right? You've just kept going till this day.
I think so. I mean that's I think I must have got it from my dad.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a clown. So
Yeah.
and I got probably my sense of humor from very early on from my mom and dad.
Nice. Well, that's also important when you're playing music, right? To have that sense of humor. Um, Wonderful. Why don't we listen to a little bit of your playing now? So we're going to talk more about your journey with studying guitar and
Yeah.
studying it when you're younger, and then studying again when you're a few years later. Um, shall we listen to what do you want to play? Do you want to play some Piazzolla, maybe the Gymnopédie? What do you think would go well with this part of your life we just spoke about? Maybe.
Maybe the Oblivion.
Oblivion. Yeah, let's do Oblivion. Sounds good. Okay. So we're going to play a video of Ivan playing Oblivion by Astor Piazzolla. Do you have any special connection with Piazzolla's music? A story maybe about encountering it for the first time?
Uh, this piece is one of the pieces that I learned long after I had left my teacher. Okay, and yeah, this was among the first pieces. It was a bit of a challenge, actually. One of my friends, uh, I think the reason was when I heard it, I'd loved this piece, and I said that I need to find a guitar transcription for it. And
Mm-hmm.
my friend quite dismissively said, "I don't think this piece can be played on the guitar." And so I
Oh,
said, "Yeah,
a challenge.
let me show you." Challenge accepted.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Wonderful. And which is this your own transcription, or is it who is the transcriber or arranger?
It's from a Japanese guitarist. Can't remember his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's listen to this recording of Oblivion played by Ivan. All right, very nice.
A
Oblivion.
very gaudy gold label.
Very gaudy. Nice. Yes, I have my black label here in this beautiful little glass. Um, yeah, cool. Well, that's some wonderful playing with the Piazzolla. Nice job. Philip Alilovich says, "Hi guys, greetings." Hi Philip, nice to see you. Good to see you in the chat. Yes, Philip is here. So just to tie up your kind of story, you started again, or you started again with this new teacher, or you started guitar with this new teacher, and then you studied it till you were 19. You said, right?
Yeah. So the thing is, when I learned with him, I had no means of seeing how much I was progressing or how well I was actually doing.
Hmm.
Because essentially the only other guitarist I saw apart from myself was him.
Yeah.
I think I didn't really socialize very much. There was not very, I would say that the guitar was not a very popular instrument maybe.
Hmm.
That there wasn't a very big community of guitarists, I think, or rather at least I was not exposed to it.
Right.
Um, but my teacher kept telling me that, oh, you're good. So I mean, but that's just him and me, right?
Yeah,
We have
yeah,
no
yeah.
means of comment. Yeah, but in 1980, yeah, I think that time I was about 13 years old. He asked me to take part in a competition, the
Mm-hmm.
Singapore Guitar Festival. I think it was the seventh edition or something. Yeah. And he said he yeah he said that he wanted me to take part in it, and I thought, yeah, sure, let's participate and get the certificate,
Yeah.
get a T-shirt, and yeah, okay. But he said that you are going to win it, and then
That's
wow,
quite the thing
okay,
to tell your student.
yeah, so, you're going there and you're going to win it. I'm like, what? Okay, challenge, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so I went to this competition, and it was quite a shock to me, because when I was there, when I saw the other participants, it was quite my $70 Ariana guitar, right, was
Mm-hmm.
like the least the worst. I mean there was so many. The other competitors were carrying like Sakurais or Konos,
Mm-hmm.
very expensive instruments, and I just suddenly like I felt crushed.
Yeah.
Um, and when I saw and I told my teacher that he was having lessons at the shop, the Singapore Guitar Shop, and the Heats was held at Yamaha, which was upstairs of the same building. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
came down and told him that I can't do this, because those guys had like instruments that were way better than mine,
Yeah.
and
It's not
he
the
was,
instrument that
yeah,
makes the performance, you
yeah.
know?
He actually told me that don't worry about it. Just get to the final. We'll talk about it later. And he closed the door because he was having a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went up, and he was very confident that I would get to the finals, and yeah, and so I did, and yeah, and after having like had some of the contestants laugh at me because of the lack of quality of my instrument, he said, yeah, you're in the final, right? I said, I don't know, the results are not announced yet. I said, oh, I'm sure you'll be in, and he just like and true enough, when the results were announced, I was quite stunned myself that
Mm-hmm.
how he was so confident that I would. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I did, and he lent me a Yairi after that. I think it was K Yairi guitar, a Japanese make.
Nice.
Um, Not a bad guitar, but a lot better than what I had.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I took part in the competition, and yeah, I won it. So
Nice.
yeah,
That must have been
and
good for your confidence. That's great.
I think so. And it was during that time that many of the people in that circle, I started to like mix a bit more, and they were talking about the tone that I had. Because
Yeah.
my teacher was obsessed with tone. He made sure that I filed my nails like very correctly,
Yeah.
shaped it properly,
Yeah. Nice.
you know, and yeah, and made sure that every note was properly rounded, and smooth, clear,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and they were surprised that at only 13 I sounded that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, yeah, I continued playing, right, and around the time I was 17, that same teacher of mine told me that, yeah, the previous one was the junior section that I won. Those under 16s, right?
Mm-hmm.
But about 4 years later, at the time I was 17 years old, he told me to take part in the open section, and this time it was scary because everyone was in the competition was some teacher or something.
Yeah.
So I said that, Mr. Lai, are you serious now? This is like tough competition. And he said, so yeah, yeah, don't worry about it. As usual, he was like, very confident. So
Mm-hmm.
just take part. I said, okay, you mean take part and maybe get in the finals, right? He said, no, no, you take part and you're going to win it. So, so there was the kind of, in a way, pressure, and but also good for my confidence. So,
Mm.
so I took part in the competition, and I think on the day of the heats, I saw this group of people. They were all music teachers, Yamaha teachers, a
Mm-hmm.
lot older than I was, of course, and they were like, saying that, oh, you first, no, you second, you third,
Yeah.
and I was like, sitting there. I don't know if they did it like, just to like, or it was just a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't very pleased because I was expecting to be in the final. So if they were like 1, 2, 3, they let me know place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just played one chord with my legendary tone then.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly all of them stopped talking and looked at me, and yeah, it was a good feeling.
Yeah.
So I took part in that one, and I went in the finals, but I did not win. I came in second,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, playing this piece called English Suite.
Mm-hmm.
My teacher was really angry that I did not win. Yeah. But that in a way was like, the end of, in a way, it signaled the end of my dream of being a professional classical guitarist.
And why
I
was
just
that? Why
thought that,
why was that the end of it for you?
yeah, because I just felt that, if I wanted to, right, I needed to show my mom and dad that, I could do it and I could win it.
And getting
And the thing
second
is,
wasn't second. Getting second wasn't
yeah,
enough to show them for you.
yeah, yeah. In a way, once I came in second, I didn't. I felt that, I didn't have the moral authority anymore to to pursue it.
Huh. Interesting. And
Yeah.
how do you feel about that now? That perspective that you had.
You see, when I told my dad that I wanted to pursue music, right, musical studies, he sat me down and said, "No, that's not the way you want to go, because you will struggle, and you will not be able to enough earn enough, as a guitarist." So I felt that, yeah, maybe, but I really want to do it, and I think I can do well. But my dad sat me down together with my uncle, and both of them were telling me like, please don't go down this road.
Huh.
So yeah, yeah. In a way, they might have been right. Maybe it wasn't time yet for me to do it.
Hmm.
I see some of my friends who became professional musicians, and they maybe are not doing quite so well.
Hmm.
Right. So because of that, I became a guitarist. I mean, became a writer. But
Yeah.
yeah, but in that sense, I didn't leave the guitar, right? I mean, I always like had room in my life for it, and
Hmm.
so after, by the time I was 19 years old, my teacher told me like, look, I really don't have anything to teach you anymore. It was an interesting, like, yeah, the kung fu, if you can snatch the pebble from my hand moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that was when he told me that, and that was when I had to descend the mountain to go back into the real world,
Yeah.
right? With whatever I had. Yeah. So he said that, if I wanted to pursue my studies in music, um, he said that you can go and try applying. I think at that time we did not have the context and resources like we do now.
Hmm.
Like, we didn't have email. We didn't have like, we would be, struggling to like, get contacts in like universities. So I never actually pursued it. I mean, and even if I did, I don't think I would have been able to get things like scholarships or
Mm.
or the finance required uh, to pursue that interest of mine. So in a way, I just gave up and said that it's okay. I'll just go on with whatever skills I have in the guitar and continue playing
Mm.
and keeping my standard up. Yeah. So which is essentially what I've done.
Yeah, interesting. I'm sure you still learn from the people you hear and the people you observe, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think when you get to an advanced level, learning becomes less of a relying on one person to learn and relying on many sources to learn, whether they're teachers,
Yeah.
other teachers, different teachers, or people you listen to, or your colleagues, or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's also interesting what your teacher said to you that I don't have anything more to teach you, because sometimes that also happens just where you know that a student should be, or as a student, you also sometimes come to a point where you realize that you might have a very good teacher who's even maybe still more advanced than you, but that you've gotten everything you can out of them, because every teacher has different things to offer as well. So I always find I'm thankful that during my studies, doing a bachelor and two master's degrees, that I worked with different teachers for each degree, because I feel like it allowed me to sort of get a lot of different things out of different people. And I sometimes I see some students who stay with the same teacher for like 8 or 10 or 12 years, and there's definitely a point you hit where maybe that person's expertise or way of teaching has kind of given you as much as they can. It's tricky. Adam Chickaletti says, no drinking on screen, boys. Think about the children. Think about the children. Okay. Kids are welcome to watch this show, but it's not exactly designed for kids. So, okay. Just with that out of the way. It's not gratuitous, Adam. I'm just having a little scotch with Ivan here. We're just having a chat. I think he's being sarcastic. No, I find that really interesting. I find it really interesting that for you at that time, it felt like getting second in a competition was, not showing your parents enough that you could do well enough to be successful. I find it interesting because I just feel like, especially when you're in the final round, it's kind of like I just don't see a correlation between the people who get first place in competitions and the people who have the best careers, So, but it is definitely a challenging profession. I mean, there are probably a lot of other reasons too that it is a risk for sure to pursue it professionally. But I just find that interesting. Yeah. Do you still feel like competitions are a good marker of someone's ability level, or what do you think about them in the context of classical guitar now? Because we wanted to talk a little about the democratization of classical guitar, and how do you think competitions and festivals fit into that, and the whole culture around that? What is your opinion of that stuff now?
I think that it is good for the progress of the guitarist to maybe take part in one competition,
Right.
because because it's very intense. Of course, I mean,
Yeah.
suddenly you're like spending like 14, 15 hours a day, right?
Yeah.
Practicing your fingers are like
Yeah.
raw and bleeding. But uh, and in a way, in a way, it's a very quick way to like see how good the guitarist is. But I don't know. A maybe better way to gauge guitarists in a competition like this could be perhaps to just give them a grading,
Mm-hmm.
uh, grading in a concert situation. So you don't actually have a first or second,
Mm-hmm.
but like maybe a gold or a silver,
Right.
that sort of thing. Yeah. But I don't know if such a criteria or such a manner of giving awards is possible.
Yeah.
Or maybe even like award them for different things, like within the competition itself, like the Academy Awards, you get best picture, right?
Yeah.
Best
Yeah.
soundtrack, and yeah,
I
that
ap-
sort of thing.
I appreciate competitions that have categories like that. Like, they might say best. They have maybe some competitions have a required piece, and then they say the best performance of the required piece, or the best performance of 19th century work, or
Yeah,
whatever. I kind of like that kind of thing because it encourages people to do their own thing as well as they can. I mean, because that's the issue with competitions, right? Is trying to compare even two people playing the same piece. It's almost like comparing different. Yeah, I don't know. I personally,
you were on the circuit, right? You were
I did a
you
little
were
bit.
yeah,
I did sort of like the thing is, I never had the kind of financial support I needed to go to
Yeah.
many festivals. I didn't have anyone paying for that, and I wasn't even getting financial support for school really, aside from a few scholarships here and there, but they were never enough to fully cover tuition and living costs. So my whole time studying for 10 years at the university level, or 8 years, I guess, with some years off in between some degrees, was me working to support myself. So festivals were on my own bill, let's say, usually.
Okay.
Almost always. Once or twice I had some grant support, to go or something like that. But I did for a period go to maybe 4 or 5 festivals a year, maybe 6 or 7 on a really busy year. And those experiences were, I tried to pick my personal, and I took this as an advice from Marchandila, actually, an interview he did, where he said,
Okay.
the point of a festival is to get fans, to win fans as a player. And what that means is not just people in the audience who are not guitarists, but also other guitarists and the teachers there. So when you go to a festival, you should go to one where you think you're going to get heard. And I tried to pick places where I could go where I knew that some of the rounds were open to the public, or that there were people there I wanted to meet anyways, or it was a place where I hadn't really met people yet, so it was a good chance to meet other professionals or aspiring professionals. Because I feel like regardless of who wins the prize, what you end up leaving from is remembering who played and who you met. And
Mhm.
also, often the people who attend those festivals either organize concerts themselves or end up becoming concert organizers at some point, or having some opportunity to invite you to teach a class or something somewhere. So I always saw competitions and festivals more as that sort of place where I could meet people, and I could, hopefully bring my best artistic expression or my best interpretation of what I'm playing, regardless of whether the judges like that or not. Hopefully the other guitarists and the audience members will enjoy it, and I'll get something out of that in the future, in terms of network and sort of, winning people over to, how I play. So
So
that's,
it's practically a shop window, right?
yeah,
For talents.
yeah. And I think that that's why I think if I ever organized something like a competition, I would want to make sure it's open to the public, and it encourages, and the repertoire requirements encourage as much artistic diversity as possible, even though that's harder to judge, I guess, than just having everybody play the same program. But I also don't want to sit through everyone playing the same program.
How about if we? How about if we had a competition, right? A guitar, say a guitar competition, a festival that's like a bit like the format of, say, American Idol.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, where I mean, we talked about. I mean, I don't know if it's time we can go into this
Yeah, yeah.
democratization of classical music, right? My feeling is that the people who classical musicians and maybe also people who are seen to like them are like regarded by many others as like a fuddy-duddy old
Yeah.
uninteresting. They got this very stiff stiff kind of image, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very stuffy,
Mm-hmm.
almost snobbish, like and always walk towards the highbrow.
Yeah.
And I feel that if we sort of can I even say if you brought it down a little, classical
Mm-hmm.
music, right, for where everybody can listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be wonderful, and that there'll be more people actually watching uh, classical music concerts or shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I feel that if yeah, if more people were interested, I mean, it would be better for any musician. And I feel that somehow the guitar is the best instrument for that.
Mm.
Reason being, it is so portable.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't bring a piano around. Okay, I mean, respect to my pianist friends.
Yes,
uh,
but it's difficult.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you can, okay. A violin is more portable, but you can't like my feeling is that you can't really play like solo as much
Mm.
as the
Yeah.
guitar can, and your guitar can play so many things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, one of the things I like doing is playing like pop music on the classical guitar, right? On
Yeah.
this instrument, and and beside my classical repertoire. And in a way, it's sort of like makes people interested in the instrument. And I said,
Mm.
yeah, look, the classical guitar, like we talked about definitions earlier. Like
Mm-hmm.
what is it? It is to me like a guitar that plays any sort of music. So you can play a pop song on it. You can play serious music on it. I mean, you can play your Eric Satie or right, or
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a Taiwo from Nigeria or maybe a Malaysian composer. I mean, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you can play practically anything on it. And my feeling is that whenever I took my guitar out, right, to my to where my friends were, right, or if they came to my place and saw me and the guitar, they would always be like interested in what I could do with the guitar. And when I showed them the range, they were always like so interested.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that may be the gateway to like the classical guitar could really be the gateway to classical music
Yeah.
because it's comfortable being in a concert hall as much as it is being in a home, right? And
Yes.
you can play the. I mean, if you play, say, a trumpet, it might be a bit loud, right?
Yeah. Yeah. True. Well, and
um,
we now have amplification technology. So as controversial as it is, we can do both
yeah.
small and big spaces. So you have many options with the guitar for sure. Steven Densolm says, "Hey guys, I'm here. We love you, Ivan." It's very true. We do love
Yeah,
Ivan.
dear guitar builder.
Yes, Steven is here now. We'll have to talk about his guitar soon since he's here. But first, because you talked about the fact that the guitar can play any kind of music, I stumbled across a video of yours while putting together things for the show that has 287,000 views on YouTube, which is
Insane, right?
ridiculous, insane for classical guitar. That's like astronomical. Anyways, but this is a good example, right? Because this was an arrangement you made, correct?
Yeah. At the very start of YouTube, I think when YouTube first made its debut, right? I think I did a search. I searched like guitar or classical guitar, and there was this two guys that came up wearing singlets and they were not very good, but they were playing very confidently, and it was almost comical. But I realized that the tune was quite lovely,
Mm-hmm.
but they were not very good, and the guitars were not even properly in tune, and
Okay.
I
Yeah.
could see that the quality was obviously, I mean, of the playing was not great, but they were trying,
Yeah.
and I thought, what is this? So I just made an arrangement of it. It's this piece called Tonghua. Again, my
Tonghua.
Chinese
Yeah.
is not great. Fairy tale in Chinese. Yeah. It's from a composer named Guang Liang, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Malaysian composer, and I suspect those two boys were Malaysian Chinese boys.
Mm.
And but the thing is, I've tried looking for that video, but I've not been able to do it. It's been
To
like
find it.
14 years, I think, yeah. But those two guitarists might be virtuosos right now. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Who knows?
They
Yeah.
were very young, but yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I made
Nice.
an arrangement and I made a recording, and yeah, it just like became crazy.
Became super popular. And yeah, people love it. So this is a good example of bringing the classical guitar to people through music that
Yeah.
was not originally written on the classical guitar. Philip says, "Guitar, the one and only miniature orchestra worldwide. I think that's the magic behind it. So much meaning." Um, and Spela says, "Hi, Ivan, and hi, guys. Great
Hello.
content. Thank you, Spela. Nice to see you." Okay, should we listen to Tonghua? Why don't we do that? Yeah, let's listen to that so people can hear your the video that has reached all across the world. Wunderbar. Very nice. Wonderful. Nice. Dairos on YouTube says, my favorite piece, Tonghua. Very nice.
Oh, he actually learned it, Dairo. Dairo
Cool.
is yeah, he's the first person who contacted me from Nigeria,
Cool.
and that was on Facebook. So it was quite fun because when he contacted me, um, I thought like, who's this guy? You know? And he said that he asked me for my WhatsApp number, and
Yeah.
I thought that was very forward. That was very direct. You know?
Yeah.
So I said that that's a bit too forward to be a scam, right? So I
Yeah.
checked his profile, and he said that he wanted to learn, you know, to learn the guitar from me or anything to pick up some tips. So I did. I gave him my number. I thought that in the worst case, right, if it's not who he says he is, I can just block it.
Yeah.
But we became friends after that, and he introduced me to his other friends, of course Taiwo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we we had this, and eventually, yeah, we started like having conversations with one another, and now I talk to them very regularly.
Nice.
That whole chocolate African.
Yeah. Classical guitar platoon. Yeah, well, we'll play some of you playing some of Taiwo's music a little bit later here in the show.
Yeah.
I've had Taiwo on the show as well, which was delightful.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think that was when I first heard about Nessie Desk.
oh, really?
He told me about it, yeah, and I said,
That's
yeah,
funny.
go for it, and like talk a bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
And it's quite cute. I mean, if you think about it, right? Taiwo was writing music for the guitar, and he was trying to sort of like yeah. I mean, he was doing his thing for the guitar. According to Dairo, he said that there are all of like 7 or 8 classical guitarists in the whole of Nigeria,
Yeah,
which is unbelievable. A population of like millions, right? They've got like the biggest
yeah,
in Africa. So
hmm
he said that we have only 8 like guitarists, and and I thought if that's the case, gosh, I better help you all
yeah, yeah,
in case you go extinct, right? And when Taiwo told me that he was doing this composition, I said, "Are you doing anything to like make some money out of it?"
yeah,
And he said no. So I said that look, let me help you. So I put his scores on proper sheets, right,
hmm
and made them available. I said, you go and do your own marketing, right? I will take care of the of the selling part for you.
hmm
And yeah, so we sort of had an arrangement. I think they have trouble like getting like a payment gateway or something in Nigeria
hmm
because of the banks and their problems. So I managed to set up a PayPal account for him,
hmm
and I told him, I said, look, you give me all your compositions, right, and I'll just sell them for you for free. I told him, I said, like, look, I'll price your compositions at $4, your arrangements at $3, and then you take all the money until we reach $5,000, and then maybe we'll talk about splitting. I
yeah,
really don't think so. I mean, to me, it's like just take the money.
yeah.
Just yeah. So in the past year or so, we've managed to sell something like 600 or 700 US. I mean,
Oh, nice.
yeah, in made that amount in sales US dollars or 600. So it's a lot better than nothing.
It's
Because
growing. Yeah,
I told him that I mean don't write for Facebook likes, right?
yeah,
Don't write to get a better following. I mean, like you make you are actually writing pieces that can be played, and the thing is that there are people who probably want to buy it, who want to support such a cause. And I said that $4 or $3 is not too much.
no,
And I've had, yeah, people actually buying up the whole his whole catalog.
yeah. That's wonderful. I mean, it's great. I also think self-publishing is the way of the future for music sales. You know, um, in a lot of ways, and it's easier than ever to do it worldwide. So that's great. Um, yeah, Ty was excellent, and he does both arrangements and compositions, right? So some of them
Yeah,
are
that's
some of them are existing sort of Nigerian or
folk
uh,
music, yeah, that he makes. Yeah, he makes
yeah,
guitar.
yeah, and some of them are original compositions of his. Um, Very cool. Well, let's listen to you play one of Taiwo's pieces, but first we're gonna do the repertoire listening test. That's a staple on this the messy desk here. So I think you've seen a few times me do this with other guests, right? So you know the drill. But for the audience, I'm going to play some recordings, and Ivan is going to guess either the piece, the composer, or the player, or all three if you can. So and I'll give you hints, Ivan. So if you're not sure, I'll help you out a little bit. Wait, I have to share my audio. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start with this.
It's familiar, but I can't remember what piece it is.
You've heard it. I'm sure you've heard it. Can you give a guess?
Right?
South American. Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good. South American. Yeah, one of the most well-known composers of guitar music, I would say, from the
So
20s.
it has to be the great Paraguayan, right?
No, almost,
Oh.
but same level of fame, I would say, but not Barrios. Oh, Philip already has it in the chat. Do you want? Sorry.
I'm not looking at the chat. So.
Yeah, no, don't look at the chat, Ivan. No cheating. Do you want to hear some more, or?
It's not Villalobos?
It's Villalobos. Yes, very good. Villalobos. Do you know which Villalobos it is, or what suite it's from? Do you know what collection of pieces it's from?
Is it one of his preludes?
It's not one of the preludes.
No, that I don't.
It's a popular form of Brazilian song.
Choros.
Choros, yes.
Is it?
Choros number one.
Is it?
Yeah. And do you have any idea who the player is? It's an Argentinian player.
I have no idea.
Okay, it's Alvaro Pieri. But
Okay.
very good. Yeah. Okay, so 2 out of 3, not bad. Villalobos Choros number 1. It's good. I gave you a little help, but it's the first one, so. We'll do another one that's not too tricky. How about this?
Oh, that's Taria.
Yeah, Tariga. Yeah.
Adelita.
Adelita, and the player?
Adelita, yeah. I have no idea.
Do you want to hear some? Just listen a little more and then tell me what you think.
I have no ways of guessing.
No idea. It's Andre Segovia.
Oh, it's a great Segovia, right?
Yeah, it's Segovia. Yeah. I was hoping the old recording quality would give it away, but no.
Alright.
Okay. Next one. Which one should I do next here? I don't have them in order this time. Oh, this will be a good one because you're talking about how the guitar can play any music. So this will be interesting to see if you recognize this.
Oh gosh, what piece is this?
You recognize it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Steven says, "This is my favorite game ever." Well, any idea, Ivan, what this piece is?
No,
It's not a guitar piece. It's a transcription.
Yeah.
It's arrangement. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's an arrangement
And I love
of.
that. I love that thing about guitar. We can do so many transcriptions of so many things.
Exactly.
I mean, people like Philip are doing like some wonderful work. I mean, even
Yeah.
Taiwo is doing like transcriptions of African folk songs.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what this piece is.
It's by a French composer. Does that help?
Faure?
Not Faure, but you're in the right neighborhood of like timeline. You're in the right sort of region and time. Not Faure. Maurice. Ravel, yes. Ravel, yes. It's the Pavane for a Dead Princess.
Yes, of course,
Yeah. And the guitarist is a Japanese guitarist.
Oh.
Do you have any idea who it might be? Do you want to hear some more of the recording here? This guitarist is known for playing orchestral music, actually.
Oh, is it a Yamashita fella?
It's Yamashita. Yes, it's Yamashita. Very good. Yeah, yeah. It's Yamashita. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Have you ever?
That's a transcription of pictures at an exhibition or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's a ridiculous. It's like, what is it, like 40 minutes long or an hour long?
Yeah,
or something?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like serious cramps at the end.
Yeah. Fucking
Really
crazy.
listening.
That transcription is wild. I remember the first time I found the video of him playing that in Toronto in the 80s. Have you seen this
Yeah.
video?
I think I might have seen parts of it.
Okay.
I don't think I've sat through the end.
But I think the first time someone showed me that, it blew my mind. I was like, what the hell is this? You know? It's crazy. Yeah, it's incredible. But also nuts. Steven says Ivan has one of the best laughs in guitar history. There you go, Ivan.
One of the best laughs.
Best laughs in guitar history. Yeah. Okay.
I'll take that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, next piece. This one. Do you know?
I don't think I've ever heard this.
A staple in guitar competitions, actually. Although maybe just now it's a staple in guitar competitions. I'm not sure about back in the day. It's sorry.
My knowledge of guitar music is like confined to pieces like Capitalist Arabic.
Ah, okay. So you know the hits. Just play the hits. Okay.
Yeah, the hits.
Yeah, it's one of the William Walton bagatelles. This.
Ah, right.
Yeah, played by, any idea who has that kind of sound? No, okay, it's a Julian Bream recording. Nice. We'll do a couple more here. Okay, how about this one?
I just heard this a few days ago.
You heard this a few days ago?
and the title eludes me now.
Yeah.
I don't know who is this. Gosh.
Not a guitar composer, but a Spanish composer.
Spanish composer, not a guitar. Manuel de Falla?
Not Manuel de Falla, but this is a composer who wrote a piece that people associate with the guitar.
Oh, dear.
There's a very, very famous guitar piece that everybody thinks is a guitar piece, but it's actually a piano piece written by this composer.
Oh, of course. Albinez?
Albéniz, yeah, exactly.
Albinez,
Yeah. But this is not a...
Asturias.
Yeah, and everyone's... What a nice guitar piece. But this is not Asturias. Do you know what piece this is? Just start naming cities in Spain, you know?
Okay, okay, there's Asturias.
It's a city in
It's not Sevilla, right?
It's not Sevilla, but it's a city in Andalusia, so it's nearby Sevilla, actually, very close to Sevilla. I think
my
you can.
knowledge of Spain is knowledge of Spain is confined to Valencia.
Oh, okay. I was about to say you can drive from Sevilla to this city in like 2 or 3 hours, I think, or like an hour, maybe even. It's on the coast. It's Cadiz.
Cadiz, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay, one more. This is a more modern piece. We'll see if you'll get this last one.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I must get my hands on the score of this one.
Okay, yeah, I can. Yeah, you can.
It sounds like fun.
It's cool. Yeah, it's very cool. It's from it's the Alberto Ginastera guitar sonata.
Oh, it's a sonata.
Yeah, and Alberto Ginastera only wrote this one piece for the guitar. I mean, he's one of the most famous. I think he's Argentinian, right? I could be wrong on that. Composers from the 20th century. And he wrote this one guitar sonata, and it's really, really cool. It's a really wild piece, but it's really cool. Anyhow, yeah, a lot of like hitting the strings between strums and stuff. It's very neat. if you feel like hitting your strings in your guitar, this is a good piece. Steven says, I like Guns N' Roses. Well, thank you, Steven. Thank you.
Steven thinks I'm Axl Rose. He thinks I'm Asian Axl Rose.
Yeah, I can't really totally blame him. Okay, well, why don't we listen? We were talking before the game about the music of Taiwo Adegoke, who's guitarist and composer from Nigeria, and sort of how you discovered his music and helped him publish it. So why don't we listen to one of his pieces that you played? I have here Ododo Itanati Osu Agemo. I'm probably not pronouncing that correct.
Omiji Pinya, Tears for the Departed.
No, the other one.
Okay, Obodo, yeah. Itanati Usu Agemo.
Agemo, yeah.
Flower of July. Yeah, this piece was actually written, he wrote this piece for Dairo.
Oh, okay.
Taiwo wrote this piece for Dairo on his birthday, which was in like July, and so the flower of July. So
nice.
Taiwo says that the traits of the lily remind. Taiwo reminds him of the lily because of his traits.
Nice.
It's just a loyal person, and it's always there. That sort of thing. So.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Nice. Well, let's listen to that. I'm going to cue it up here. Very nice. Beautiful. So
not a very difficult piece to play. I mean,
yeah,
I think Taiwo writes pieces that are like quite accessible to like the intermediate guitarists. But there's so many things you can do with a simple tune like this. I feel.
I think it's important that we have more and more music written for our instrument that is not necessarily just simple, but is, easily, not even easily playable, but just like something that everyone can sort of make some beautiful music out of. I think there's a little too much guitar music that tries hard to impress other guitarists, maybe a little bit or something. I mean, there's definitely a place for big, long, virtuosic works for sure. But I think
Yeah,
that I guess I see too many players only programming those kind of works, and their concert programs end up kind of lopsided on the side of
yeah,
like super heavy and super intense. And I think most audiences want to hear a mix, or they want
yeah,
to
yeah,
hear just like sort of listenable pieces. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
um,
something with a pretty melody that they can hum to when they go back home, right?
yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, that's an important step for democratizing classical guitar music, right? Is trying to make sure that it's also accessible. That being said, too, people don't mind being challenged. I mean, I play a lot of contemporary music and music by living composers. Some of it is very listenable in the sense of being very tonal and everything. Some of it's a little more experimental, but even then, it's all in how you present something, right? So I
Yeah, I mean,
think,
there was a piece that you put up, which I think I spoke to you about.
yeah, yeah,
I normally wouldn't be, but I actually found it very fascinating,
yeah.
and sat through the whole thing, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I think it's a bit weird. That's the piece Shadow Prism. I think with a piece like that, it's really about the presentation, because I think that piece, there are contemporary like new music pieces which do kind of do a lot of shocking things for the sake of doing shocking things. That does exist, and usually I'm not super into that. But in the case of this piece, uh, Jason, the composer, Jason Nobles, really created something special with the sound world he's created there. And I think in that kind of case, it's just hard to access because it's so different than every other kind of classical guitar piece you might hear. So I feel like in that is situation, it's the responsibility of the performer to contextualize the piece well. But that's kind of true for classical music in general, because like you said, a lot of people don't necessarily know what a classical guitar is, and when they see what it does, they're amazed. But when you play the classical guitar in situations that are not the norm, like a classical guitar concert in a concert hall, it's really important that you help the audience sort of understand what the instrument does and what it can do, and present it in a way that's sort of,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
understandable. Um, how what has your experience been like doing that, playing the guitar in non-traditional settings, and for audiences
Um,
who don't know it?
yeah, I feel that I mean it's nice, like for instance, weddings, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, okay, this could be an odd story. I actually had a friend of mine who was going to. I mean, when she was about to get married, she said, "Ivan, can you please play Asturias?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Okay, that piece is not in my repertoire, right? But would you like something else?" And she said, "No. Can you please learn that piece?" And I was like, "Oh damn, right." Okay, when's your wedding? And she told me like, uh, I think 4 or 5 months ago. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And so I
Mm-hmm.
learned to play it. But she actually came and told me that she heard this piece because it was the advertisement. It was part of the advertisement for Lexus cars. Lexus cars. So
That's
yeah,
funny.
and I think I don't know who it was playing. It was Manuel Barreto. And anyway, the thing is when she said that she liked it so much, she actually went to a music shop. Right, I think it was like the Tower Records or one of those, or HMV, and she actually hummed the tune to the store clerk to ask like if yeah, because she didn't know
I'm
the
sure they
title.
didn't know what it was, or did they know what it was?
No, I mean, she went to, because she went to the classical section, and I think
Okay.
after some probably after some painful negotiation, they found out what piece it was, and she
Yeah.
done a recording. Yeah, so she was quite happy. Yeah, and yeah, so I actually learned to play that piece, and yeah, along with a few other pieces I played, right, and it's quite funny because you can see that the people were enjoying like classical music along with some arrangements I made for like Mandarin the serials, Chinese shows, and and then as I was about to end my program, this guy runs up to me, right, and says, "Can you play so and so piece?" I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I have a program and I don't do requests."
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, "But you know how to play it, right?" I said, "Whether I know how to play or not, it's immaterial. I'm not playing it." So, but you can play it, and I can sing when you play it. So he actually wanted to go up stage, right, to to um, to have me accompany him on a song he wanted to sing. So yeah, that again is the failure to understand what a classical guitar actually is, right? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and my feeling is that Yeah, you can do that with a pop guitar maybe. I mean, I could accompany him, but it would not have been ideal if we hadn't like prepared anything yet. And I don't think it wasn't a professional singer. He was just a drunk wedding guest, right?
Yeah.
Who thought that he wanted to turn it into karaoke, right?
Hmm.
So I told him, I told him, I said, you wait for the next band to come up, and the guitarist should be able to accompany you on this piece, and he was quite happy. But there was no next band.
Yeah, yeah.
I was it for that night. But
It's
yeah, I
also
mean
it's
that's
also like I need the at least like the chords or something to accompany. Maybe unless it's a song you've already played or heard, but like if it's just a random song, it's like, well, yeah.
and another thing that I managed to do was, do you know this thing called Yellow Lounge? I think there's a movement in Europe. They are trying to bring the classical music out of the concert hall.
Mm.
So they actually had it at this club in Singapore called Zouk. It's like one of the top 10 clubs in the world, and we had a concert there with the number one UK recording artist at the time. His name is Martinez Levikis. He plays the accordion. So the thing is, Universal Music contacted me and asked if I could accompany him,
Hmm.
because I think they didn't want to send a whole band with him.
Hmm.
Like 4 or 5 pieces. So they asked me if I could do that. Yeah, I mean that's what the guitar can do, right? It can replace and part of an ensemble. So I did that, and yeah, and I thought it was interesting of them to like bring classical music into a dance club,
Hmm.
or a venue that's traditionally known for like club music, and and it was nice. But I just had the feeling that the people who attended on that evening were just uh, were just the same people who went into the concert hall.
Right.
It was just a different set of people. I felt that maybe a little bit more could have been done to market to the to the nightclubbers, to the clubbers, who would normally,
Hmm.
and that I felt in a way was like a wasted opportunity. I mean, it was quite well attended. I think about like 300-400 people turned up. But I think it could have been a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, I, I also sometimes like play on very informal settings, like uh, for charity once in a while, when they say they want a classical guitarist, or when they say they want a musical instrument, and I would mix my program like some serious music, some very popular music, and some actual pop songs that I've made arrangements for on the guitar.
Nice.
So in a way, there's some people who might not like what I do. I mean, in the sense that they find that it's sort of like attains the purity of the classical guitar. But I don't know. I feel that if you if you open it up to a bigger group, then you actually get a bigger audience, and they would probably eventually just listen to your guitar.
Yeah, I mean it's a balance, right? Because I think we want to expand the audience of the guitar. That's really important, and we also want to stop playing for the same audiences over and over again. That being said, there probably is some kind of limit because we are a niche. I mean, I guess it could always grow, it could always change, and I think what you did too of collaborating with someone else is one of the first steps too. I mean, playing with other instruments is one of the best ways to break the confines of our audience a little bit and expand beyond that. Um, but yeah, it is also a question of like, is classical guitar always going to be some kind of niche within classical music, or will it ever end up becoming a bigger thing? I mean, I remember listening to Judical Perrois talk about this in a conversation he had too with Łukasz Krywachewski, saying, maybe to some extent we're a niche and we have to be okay with that, and maybe it's. But that's also not to say I don't think that just because you accept that we're going to be a niche, that means that we can't expand what that niche is, which is really valuable. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, and yeah, I mean, I think the repertoire has something to do with it, right? I mean, what do you think about guitarist repertoire and how people should choose a pro concert repertoire, and how do you choose one? What are your thoughts about that?
Okay. At this stage in my life, obviously, I'm going to play all the very popular pieces. Right? I mean, I feel that there's so many nice pieces I listened to as a youth, right? And I want to play them. Many of the pieces, like obviously Asturias I can play, Capricho Arabe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prelude number one I just learned recently. And it's been haphazard, I think, because now that I don't really have a teacher, it's like what I feel I want to play at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last piece I played was Sevilla. Yeah, I've just got that into my repertoire now. The piece I want to play next is something that Spela recommended to me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's by the what's his name?
Manuel Ponce.
Ponce.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I feel that once I've learned all these pieces, what I probably want to do next is to play compositions by living composers.
Hmm.
So at least I get a chance to irritate someone while they're still alive.
Exactly. It's so nice playing music by living composers because you can talk to them, you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I love the fact that working with composers I can interact directly with them. I mean, that's been the joy of doing commission projects or playing music by people who I can contact. It's very nice. It's very refreshing. Um yeah, great. Are you going to record a CD, Ivan? What do you think?
I don't think I might like to play in a few shows, but to record a CD, I don't find any compelling need to do that because I find
Hmm.
that there are other musicians who can do a lot better as recording artists. Maybe if I put together something that's very accessible,
Hmm.
I mean, but I would have to consider it very thoughtfully, and because I don't want to come across as like somebody desperately trying to be commercial to sell CDs.
Right.
But
I
if it
mean,
has a purpose to yeah.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, well, obviously, yeah. If you're going to do a CD, you need to have something you can get behind. That's like, I really believe in this and want to put this out there. Um, but also, I don't know. You know, just because someone else can do what you might think is a better job, nobody else can do the CD that you would do, right? Nobody can be you
I
in the
suppose, yeah.
recording studio. So there's that also. Um, cool, nice. I'm curious how, because we kind of stopped. We got to the point in your story where you explained about um, when you stopped playing guitar when you were younger, but how did you get back
Okay,
into guitar?
yeah. Okay, this is was a very important part of my life. I think when my son Alex was born, and he was 1 year old, there's this impresario and music teacher in Singapore called Thomas Liao. He he's a friend of mine. I met him in competition when I was a kid. He's a lot older than I am. And when I won as a 13-year-old, he won in the adult section. So
Mm-hmm.
he came. He was at this party where I had a birthday party for my son Alex, and he said, come and join me at our ensemble. We have a Nibori, where they have the different size guitars, right? Orchestra ensemble, guitar ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
And so you come, you just bring a guitar and you come, man. I said, okay, I'll do that. So I did. I went there, and this was I think in 2006. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
2006 because Alex was 1 year old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I went there, it had been years since I looked at a guitar score, a music score, right? So this young guy puts a score in front of me. I look at it, right, and I groan because it's Sevilla, Albanese, yeah, so Albanese, and I never played Sevilla before, so I groan because it's like, oh gosh, I got to play a new piece. And this young person, only 20 years old, right? He said, if you think it's too difficult, just play the melodic line. And I was like majorly insulted. I looked at him and like yeah, I don't really think you are, and like even my guitar was older than him, right? So and but I just held my peace. I struggled a little, but by the second or third week, I was like back up to speed, like reading and it was okay.
Yeah.
And we became friends. This guy is Jeff,
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Lowe, yeah, and yeah, we became friends, and he's very passionate about the guitar. I think he might have at one point hoped to become a concertizing guitarist, like playing, being a professional guitarist. He's now working in Germany as
Hmm.
yeah, I mean he's a psychologist. So he 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 became like the person I turned to for music scores, right?
Nice.
It's quite interesting because he was like in touch with the guitar world, so to speak, and I sort of like fallen away. I still played, but I never like learned anything new from the time that I left my teacher when I was 19 to like probably about 20 years without a single new piece. So so when I met Jeff, he introduced me to new scores, and I actually coached him a little on his playing. So
Hmm.
it became like a relationship that we had. Yeah. And he actually found me a guitar, a Hofner, which I have, which is in here.
Ooh, let's see it.
So yeah,
Beautiful.
so it's a very inexpensive instrument. I paid something like 1,400 euros for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not
So
bad.
so it's a luthier instrument. So and when I played it, I thought, oh, it sounded so nice. And but yeah, and the thing is, as soon as I had got it, I know what I did was I was actually passing a shop in Singapore, right? And I texted him. I said like, look, I've just seen this shop of guitars, and he told me like just go two shops down. There is a violin shop that actually sells guitars, and so I went in there with my wife, and I played this thing and I liked it, and I think Kara, my wife, she saw my face and she said, "You like it?" I said, "Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's only like 2,008 at the time, which is like 1,400 euros." And she said, "Yeah, let's buy it." I said, "Wow, okay." And the woman says, "Do you want a case along with that?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And then she takes out a carbon fiber BAM case.
Oh, nice. Wow.
I think the one that you had there, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and my wife said, "Yeah, yeah, sure, you just put them all together." And so I had the guitar. That was like yeah, 15, 14 years ago.
Nice.
And so yeah, in a way, I started learning new music. Like you can see that most of these pieces that I'm playing now was what, after I met Jeff.
Mm.
And in a way, he has spurred me on to play some things. He's a bit more esoteric in his choice of music, and sometimes like he cringes at my my leaning towards the popular taste. But yeah, I mean we've grown. I mean he has grown up, and the fun part was at the end of last year. Um, right, I decided that I wanted to get a guitar,
Yes.
a
Yeah.
proper guitar, right?
This is one of the ways
And
we sort of met in a way.
yeah. And I was really in the market for anything. I mean, seriously, anything.
Hmm.
And I was ready to buy anything. So, but I think at the time I was a bit like curious because there was this guy Philip, right? I mean, our friend Philip, who uh, who had this guitar which had this enormous rosette, right? And
Hmm.
yeah, Lucy, right? And I was curious about the guitar. I thought it was really pretty,
Hmm.
and I'd never seen anything so beautiful. And then and I noticed there was this guy who always followed him, or in a few pictures was with him. This young guy with very long hair, long curly hair, right?
Hmm.
And I realized that this fellow was a luthier, right?
Hmm.
So and the thing is, I caught him on this show,
Oh, really?
Stephen and
That's
yeah,
funny.
Stephen
Philip,
and
yeah.
Philip, yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
and Philip was like smoking nicely, like
yeah.
on the show.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that was the first time I met Philip because Steven sort of contacted me because I'm studying in the Netherlands and he saw me on
Okay,
Facebook
right.
and stuff and then he contacted me and then he was like, "Oh, you have the show. Like, what if I came on with this guy who plays one of my guitars and he writes music and we could talk?" I was like, "This is great. I get a show with like a luthier and a composer all in one." And
Yeah,
then it's awesome that you caught him on the show and were exposed to Staven that way. So that's super cool. It's
yeah.
like a messy desk moments, you know.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think it was that what he said in the show that resonated with me. See, there's a resonant connection now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I think he talked about the traditional style of making guitars, and
Right.
that's the kind of style I like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been a fan of like the Nomex and what's that? The double tops. Right?
Lattice and double tops and
Let
yeah.
us yeah. So I don't know. I just never liked. I like my guitars to be like nice and clear and warm.
Mm-hmm.
So and that very idea, like sort of like yeah. I mean, resonated with me, and so I decided to ask him. You know, so I just sent him a message on Facebook on Christmas Eve, Stephen, and I said, "How much are your guitars?" And he told me. I said, "Well, okay." And he asked me to go and check out his website, which I did. And the more I read about him, and the more I looked at his guitars, the more I loved them.
Yeah,
Because
they're
I
cool.
felt that yeah, he has something about like he's got this very artistic eye. I felt,
Mm-hmm.
and and seriously, his guitars are the most beautiful I really have seen. And I've seen so many guitars.
Yeah.
So I spoke to him, and we got from just a simple conversation. He said, "You can call me, no strings attached." Haha.
Ha 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 ha. Oh, that's very Staven. Yeah, I don't know how he does it. He has so many phone calls. Me and him, when we call, it's like an hour or two long, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I have to call someone else. I'm calling this person." He's like, he's talking to everyone all the time. It's amazing. Also, sorry, I was laughing when you were talking, not because your story was funny, but because Staven said in the chat, "I love carbon," which is a joke because he hates carbon strings, and he
But
loves
he loves cedar also.
yeah, cedar lattice, cedar guitars with lattice bracing
Yeah,
and carbon
yeah.
strings
Double top, yeah.
like this one, you know, which he
That must be like anathema to him, right?
yeah, but he was the one who fixed this guitar up and redid the polish. So, yeah, I probably when you heard him talking about traditional guitars on the show, it was me and him arguing because I was probably like,
Yeah, right.
you know, because I'm this progressive, godless heathen who likes to play lattice guitars with carbon strings. No, to be fair, like my traditional spruce top guitar, I still use nylon strings on it because I firmly believe that the strings depend on the guitar. But anyways,
Okay, yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't use the same strings on every guitar, um, but yeah, Staven's guitars are beautiful. I loved playing them in Altost and Bergen. They have a super wonderful sound and great construction, and the artistic eye thing. I think you're right about. I think, part of the draw for his guitars for me is that he is putting extra effort into building each guitar from an artistic standpoint, not necessarily because of the value of what it will do for him business wise, but because he wants to make them beautiful.
Yeah.
And that
It's,
matters.
it's,
It's yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, his artistry was what drew me to him,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing is, because I never, I mean, I would have no means of like getting a guitar in this part of the world, right? So
Yeah.
I had to contact the people who knew, and you were one of them because I saw you recording on my guitar, right?
Mm-hmm.
With what Phillips Lucy,
Mm-hmm.
and I talked to Philip as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that with what you had said about him, and also what he represented of himself, I thought, why not just go with this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And look, I mean, I can buy a Sakurai, I can buy another Banabe. I got two already.
Yeah.
But or even like say Matthias Daman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which would set me back a lot, but still, I could have. But
Mm-hmm.
I thought, why not try this young fella?
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, okay, let's talk. And it's been amazing because I thought that I would just tell him, look, I want spruce, right?
Yeah.
Rosewood, 650 millimeter scale, right?
Yeah.
Nut width, you can decide, and yeah, that's it. But it's not been like that at all.
He's had you go through every different material. While you're talking, I'm gonna flash some pictures on the screen of the guitar. So, did you guys choose the back first, or?
We decided on the material, and so he started to show me. I told him I wanted something dark,
Hmm.
I didn't confine him to anything. I just told him no maple or cypress, please. Just
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
So here's the I'm putting on the screen now the back that you chose together. So what is this wood?
that's a kookaburra. Kookaburra. I think
Nice.
it's an American rosewood, right?
Yeah. Beautiful. It's that's a very rich color. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah. He was quite happy that I chose it, and he actually told me that it would have been his choice if I had
Um,
not. Yeah.
so you're a man of
Yeah,
taste.
that's what I like to believe.
Yeah.
Which is why I chose him. I think.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then, yeah, there was a strong there was a strong connection I felt that I had with Stephen as I talked to him.
Hmm. Nice. And then he did all these. So another thing about Steven is that I think he is inspired by the Baroque tradition of having a very decorative instrument. So he's doing all these, like his latest build Frida is all these super
Yeah.
intricate designs. So what was the choice of the rosette? I have a picture of the rosette here. I'll put it up. What was the path to get to this rosette?
He wanted to. I think he wanted to put some flower motif on the rosette, and he said that there's this 5 point a star shaped flower that he wanted to make, and I said that, yeah, please go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
and I think as when he was about to make it, he found some shell, the power shells that
Yeah,
are from New Zealand,
these ones.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so he I said that they are beautiful, but can you work on the guitar? And he said, yeah. So I said, by all means, go ahead and do it. So it's
Nice.
it's been nice in the sense that he's been involving me in this journey,
Mm-hmm.
talking to me. I told him that, look, Stephen, I have like absolute trust in what you do. I'm if you can just make it sound good, right? And I trust you to deliver like artistically, right? Do your thing. I said, take this as your canvas. In fact, I told him more. I said, do me a favor, name this guitar.
Mm.
And he said that, wow, that's like a big responsibility. I said, yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. Yeah. I
Yeah.
said, name it. You choose the name, right? And I'll go with it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so after some months of or weeks or months of deliberation, he told me Lisa, and I said, yeah,
Nice.
beautiful. Yeah. So,
Nice. Yeah.
so that's Lisa that will be ready soon. I mean, he's like trying his best to finish it. I told him don't rush.
Yeah.
Right? I think that you can't hurry love, right? So
Yeah.
um, and uh,
True.
and I feel that an artist works best when he's given the freedom to express himself, and I feel that that's what I want him to do.
Yeah.
That's what
Cool.
he's doing now. And the nice thing is I told my friend Jeff, the one who like who pissed me off like years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I told him that I was getting this guitar, and he said that I'm crazy. I said, yeah, maybe, but I'm sure that I'm not making a mistake in this. So I said, why don't you visit him? He's in Germany, right? He
Yeah.
lives in Bayern, I think. So I told him to go and visit him, and he actually met Stephen,
Nice.
and he bought Ilona. So
Beautiful. Cool. Yeah, that Ilona, that guitar is also gorgeous. That's the one I recorded Capriccio Árabe on. It's a beautiful instrument. Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this guitar turns out. Why don't we listen to another performance? I was interested to see that you included a recording of Cavatina by
yeah,
Stanley Myers, right? That's actually one of the first guitar pieces larger guitar pieces I learned early on.
right.
Because I came to classical guitar after playing some other types of guitar for a short while. Um, so yeah, not for very long actually. I started really really late, but Cavatina was not, even though it's not exactly a beginner piece for me with the technique I had from playing other forms of guitar. It wasn't super hard to learn. So this is one of the earlier guitar pieces I learned. But it's such a beautiful tune. What is your experience with this piece, and why did you choose to learn it?
Uh, I caught this piece from from the movie The Deer Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I was probably only like 12 or 13 years old then, and you don't get many you don't hear a lot of classical guitar during that time. So it was exciting for me because it's suddenly the classical guitar was in pop culture,
Yeah.
and and we had a place there, and so but the thing is, before I could learn it, everybody was playing this piece. So and when it became like quite sickening because it became saturated with cavatina everywhere.
Yeah.
So I didn't touch it for years. In fact,
Mm.
this is one of the pieces I learned only after I left my teacher, and this was like probably in the last 10 years maybe that I played this piece out of like 40 years of playing the guitar,
Mm.
45.
Cool. Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes there's a piece that you really want to play, but it just gets overplayed and then you got to leave it on the shelf. But every piece also goes through cycles, right? I mean, not a lot of people are playing cavatina right now. I've noticed in festivals and concerts and stuff. So this is a good time for you to be playing it because it's not overdone, which is good.
Yeah,
So, yeah. Wonderful. Okay, let's listen to cavatina. Wonderful. Very nice.
Thank you.
Good playing, Ivan. Beautiful. Great. Well, it's been lovely having you on the show. We'll talk a little more here, but I just want to ask the audience if you have any questions for Ivan or me, please put them in the chat now. Now is your chance. So, Ivan, since the topic of our conversation was democratizing classical music, what do you think the future of classical guitar is? What would you like to see? How do you want to see it expand? What's your...
Well, I really feel that classical guitar should be like learned by everyone in schools.
Okay, everyone.
in a sense that yeah. I mean, the way that you know, I don't know if you had this experience, but where I was, there was a time when everybody was learning the recorder, yeah,
Yes.
and that was like the basic sort of like the basic start to music. And they started learning. That was the first instrument they had because they could
Mm-hmm.
because it was quite affordable, right? But I feel that if we could like have as many people learning guitar as possible, it will be it will be great for like the people to learn classical music because the guitar is always fun, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you might be able to do like some eventually like go into let's say pop music or be a rock star or be a great be the next Andre Scoville.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but the thing is, I think that it's if we, I would like as many people to like learn the guitar as possible, and to that end, I'm actually helping Taiwo right now. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like he started a school in Africa. He's found a place, and you know, and I feel that you know, by I mean, I think we need to put our money where our mouth is, right? If you say
Mm-hmm.
you want to do something, and that in a way is what I feel I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
He says that he asked me if I could like teach his like give some master classes to his students. I said sure. If you just it's just a matter of scheduling and logistics, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
make sure to catch me at a time when I'm not asleep.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, that is the trick.
Yeah, and yeah, so and I feel that yeah, the more people learning the guitar would be the better. So,
Hmm.
and and the thing is, yeah, it can play so much classical music, and the thing is, the classical guitar, I feel, can like save classical music, right?
Hmm.
By giving it a bigger audience, and the thing is, we have not really exploited it yet. You see?
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe because maybe there are not enough people committed to teaching or teaching at that level, not teaching at a school level where it's a very general education and not very specific to the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that if I had a chance, I would like to do that now with my life. You see? I
Hmm.
mean, I'm sort of like at a stage where I've written enough books, published enough articles, and maybe that's what I want to do to to teach kids to expose them very early on to guitar. Right?
Yeah.
Like yeah,
I mean, I think you should do it. I think that's a great idea. I teaching kids, I try to obviously give them a classical introduction in the sense of learning to read music, learning good technique, and all that. I guess the thing is, I try to keep it open ended from there in the sense that the kids, I want them to exploit that in whatever music they want to play, whatever style that is. But you'd be surprised how many kids actually really end up enjoying the classical guitar music, and
they
it
do,
can
right? Yeah.
yeah, it can have quite an impact on some people. Um, that being said, the boundaries between genres are also more malleable than we think. Like you pointed out, the fact that you can arrange things for guitar. Um, so the tools that people learn from classical guitar can translate really well if they want to go into other genres as well. So I think that's really great. Uh, nice. So you want to see the guitar be taught to a wider variety of people. Um, what else do you think is the future for our instrument in terms of?
You see, I think many musicians, not just guitarists, right, are complaining of being out of work during this the time of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in Singapore, we don't have like we can't have like concerts. We can't have like live music because they believe that all this spitting and exchanging of fluids during during concerts would
Mm-hmm.
spread the virus a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm just thinking, why not? If like say I'm in a household, right, a big enough place, I could invite a classical guitarist to my home
Mm-hmm.
to play a private show for me.
Yeah.
I give him a good meal. I pay him a certain amount of money, something I would have spent anyway if I'd like gone out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean that could be like I mean that's another way that we could extend the opportunities for classical musicians. I think.
Yeah, I mean
And the guitar is it's ideal for the guitar because we can just bring this one instrument. We don't need a
mhm.
band with us. We don't need an orchestra or an accompanying ensemble. So,
Yeah, I mean I feel like the pandemic has just made a lot of us have to pivot, in other
yeah,
ways, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I know it can be a very hard time for a lot of artists, and I haven't been able to perform much for money aside from some live streaming things where there have been donations, that sort of thing. That being said, though, I also think it's provided it's a very good time to catch up on some other parts of my craft, like recording and stuff, and production of video material and all that kind of thing. But I just think it's we have to be flexible if you want to be a professional musician. Being flexible and knowing multiple ways to sort of push your art forward and push your professional life forward is very important. Um, but yeah, I mean, the performance model has to change to some extent because the concert halls are not going to stay around in the form they have been forever. And the audience isn't either. So I love this idea of playing in non-traditional venues, and house concerts are great. A lot of the concerts I played in North America, to be honest, were house concerts, and
all right, yeah,
sometimes very well organized ones. Where there was the tour I did with Nathan Bredesen in Ontario right
yeah,
2019, yeah, before the pandemic began. We played two concerts that were house concerts organized by people who organize a series in their own home. They have a big home, and they once a month they hire an artist, and they have 30 or 40 friends, whatever amount of people can fit in their larger area of their house, and they have a house concert. And classical guitar is so perfect for that. It was really nice playing those shows.
correct. Yeah, it's so beautiful to like have an intimate setting, right?
Yeah,
Especially
exactly.
in a home where people are quite relaxed.
Yeah, and we also played a show for that tour. I mean, we played some shows in some more normal theaters and normal concert halls, but then we also played a show for that tour that was in an art gallery in a small town in Ontario. They have this really beautiful art gallery, and I think they only had space for 16, 17 people in the audience, maybe 18. It was a very small little art gallery, but it was so beautiful playing, all this music around, all these like paintings and statues and art pieces around us, with such a small group of people, and then they served cake afterwards, and it was really cool. So I love to play those kind of shows because I feel like it provides variety for the artist. Like we don't like to play the same kind of place all the time. So yeah, I definitely miss that. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the vaccination soon so that we can all move back towards being able to do shows. Would be nice. But the live stream thing is also something that's been interesting and productive for some people, and in a good way for us to connect also, even though it's never quite the same as in person. So yeah, great. Well, Ivan, it's been so great having you, and I really value your feedback and your ideas. I guess just to close, like it's wonderful for me to see someone still contributing so much to the guitar community and the guitar world, even if you're not quote unquote a professional and doing it on a professional level. Whatever that means. The level is kind of arbitrary because you're a great player. You're a great player anyways, so whether you make your living from it or not doesn't change that fact. But also just this idea that someone who's passionate about the guitar has a positive impact and a big impact, even if they're not doing it on a professional scale. So, I admire your work with publishing Taiwo's music, with the videos you do, with all the ways that you push forward our instrument, and I think that it's great that you're pushing for this, and I hope that more and more people take a leaf out of your book. Would be nice.
I think there's so much talent out there that needs to be supported. I feel.
Yeah.
Like for instance the trio, the Ottawa guitar trio. I
Yeah.
think they're brilliant. I mean, they are.
Yeah.
They I actually look forward to what they would say every week. And
Yeah.
it's sort of like the marks my weekend.
Yeah.
When I hear that, they say, okay, right, my weekend has officially started.
Yeah. Nice. That's
and,
awesome.
and the kind of things they play. I mean, they're playing like anime music right now.
Yeah.
So it's like so interesting. It's something I would do. Because
Yeah.
that's what I did in my when I was a teenager, like arranging songs for the guitar,
Hmm.
and I feel that that's something that another way of like extending the audience of the guitar by doing what they're doing right now. I think
Hmm.
it's just fantastic.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Nice. Well, um, I'm not seeing any extra questions here. So, is there anything you want to add, Ivan? Anything you want to address that we haven't yet talked about? Anything you
Let's
want
talk
to
about
say?
the guitar, right? Steven's guitar as well.
Yeah, Steven's guitar. Yeah.
So, so I'm really looking forward to that because it's like for my classical journey. Obviously, the first one was when I went into the shop and bought that $70 guitar,
Yeah.
which I still have, right? and um, and of course, next one was when my friend Jeff irritated me and we bought this guitar as to commemorate the occasion.
Yeah.
And now when I like contacted Steven to make the guitar, I feel that this is the third epoch in my life as a guitarist. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, you know,
Hmm.
but I feel that I probably want to play a lot more.
Hmm.
And yeah, as it stands right now, I keep Tuesdays and Saturdays as my guitar playing days. I
Nice.
mean, I play every day anyway, but the thing is, Tuesdays and Saturdays are when my son Alex is not around, when he
Hmm.
goes to my mom's place. So it's just a logistic thing. So
Hmm.
so I have a time when I can play late at night without like disturbing anyone. So
Hmm.
that's the one, and I hope that with the acquisition of Lisa, when it's ready, I will be able to play a lot more.
Nice.
I mean, I've started to teach a little. I mean, I've got a few students who, strangely, found me on Facebook and asked if I could teach them, and I said, yeah, why not? So,
Cool. I think you should keep teaching. That's great. That's a wonderful way to contribute, also, and to improve, the classical guitar community. And super cool. Nice. Well, it's been lovely. I'm so glad that you finally got on the show, and yeah, I'm
so glad I
excited.
didn't wake up too late.
Ah, no, it's all good. We would have just gone to another day if we had to. It's not a problem. Um, but yeah, I hope we meet in person one day soon. I would love
Yeah,
to go to Asia again. I actually grew up in Indonesia, but
yeah. You
I
spoke about that.
haven't been back since I was 16 to Southeast Asia. So I really want to come back, and would be lovely to meet in person. And hopefully you'll be in the Netherlands one day. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
um, would be cool.
Or Germany.
Or Germany, exactly, somewhere where I can get to. And yeah, we'll stay in touch. And I just, I'm really grateful for your contribution and your time. And to everyone watching, thank you for watching. It's been lovely.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, I think next week I have Matilda Opizzi coming on, who is a Italian guitarist. So I'm very excited to have her on. She's going to be great. Yeah, Matilda, and then the following week there's no show because it's my birthday, so I'm
Right.
not gonna live stream on my birthday. Jeff Lau says, "Love this interview. Thank you." Yo, you're welcome. Thank you, Jeff, for listening.
Thanks, Jeff.
Um,
Jeff is the guy who bought Ilona.
okay, cool, nice. Yeah, we'll talk, Jeff, because you're not too far away. We'll have to meet as well. Um, Wonderful, nice. Okay, this has been great. To finish off, we should listen to another one of your recordings. Do you want to do the Sati or the other one of Taiwo's pieces? What do you want to play here?
You can play the Sati. I think it shows that the guitar can do different things, right? Even
Yes.
the classical music, I mean, repertoire that's not original for guitar.
Cool. Yes. So Gymnopédie number 1, right? By Eric Satie. Cool. Nice. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Ivan, for coming on. It's been wonderful. And yes, keep rocking in the free world, Okay, we're going to listen to some Satie now.